In Jiang Shen's hand, the small seed glowed faintly, as if holding profound power. The light reflected in his eyes made it almost unbelievable. The listed effects, boosting national fortune, extending the primordial vein of heaven and earth, even containing heavenly Tao laws, were all things that defied the natural order. He suddenly recalled the previous description, stared at the seed and frowned slightly in thought. Opening the heavenly court on Jian Wood, what exactly did that mean? Could heavenly court be, as he understood it, or was it actually more complex than an ordinary space? Questions piled up like a sealed box he couldn't open. Jiang Shen looked toward Xu Jia and called out for an explanation, but only the leaves rustled in response. There was complete silence. He waited a long while with no reply from Xu Jia. The hope on his face faded into disappointment. Jiang Shen sighed. He would probably have to plant the seed himself to learn its secrets. Deciding to set the thoughts aside, he opened the system panel for instructions. The seed had to be placed in divine origin spirit, fluid in the land of divine origin, and continuously nourished with remnant souls for any hope of rooting and growth. He and Xiao Tian reviewed the info and pondered. Jiang Shen said that Great Xia's land of divine origin lay at Kunlun, near the abyss entrance. Remnant souls were abundant there, so they could ask Master and Uncle Ji to help care for the seed after bringing it there. As he considered how to tell everyone about the seed, he suddenly heard Xiao Tian coughing sharply behind him. She frowned as if a burning pain hit her throat. Jiang Shen spun around in alarm. Her coughing worsened, and her discomfort made him worry. He stepped closer, lightly patted her back to soothe her, and asked quietly, "Xiao Tian, what's wrong?" Pain reddened her eyes and panic filled her small face. She whispered in a trembling voice, "Just now, I saw a very unsettling scene." Jiang Shen looked at her gently and asked what she had seen. Xiao Tian stared at her hands, fear still in her eyes, and slowly answered, "What I saw was vague, like separated by countless layers. But one thing I felt, one of Great Xia's 3 champions will soon die." She closed her eyes, trying to recall but couldn't identify who it was. The blurred visions kept recurring. Hearing this, Jiang Shen tensed, his gaze chaotic and panicked toward her. The news struck him like lightning. He couldn't accept it. He thought, Great Xia has the Pillar of Radiant Light Tower. Uncle Jiang is about to reach tenfold ascension. Uncle Ji will touch half-step tenfold before the great battle. And Xuan Yue's sister, with ninefold realm power, can withstand tenfold ascension. How could they fall? The more he considered it, the more absurd it seemed. With their strength, who could kill them? Besides, he was still here with 80 billion nine-wing miasma beasts, 9 million red-armored elephant beetles, 15 million heaven-devouring emperor beasts, and the 8-forked serpent. How could he allow them to die? According to what Xiao Tian saw, in 2 months the heavenly seal would open, allowing tenfold ascension to appear. Even in the abyss, the strongest only reach that level. There couldn't be a force they couldn't stop. They could even counterattack and turn the tide. Thinking of the uncertain future made him shiver. Could an existence surpassing tenfold ascension appear, trading lives for lives? But when his gaze fell on Xu Jia standing firm, he felt slightly steadier no matter what happened. Xu Jia was still here. Jiang Shen looked at her seriously, thought for a long while, then asked, "If that vision truly is the future, it must not be taken lightly." "Xiao Tian, are you sure?" She gripped his hand tightly, eyes resolute and steady, her small face full of determination. Her voice left no doubt. "I'm sure." This was not the answer he wanted. At her certainty, Jiang Shen's expression darkened, his brows knitted tight, and an unnamed unease stirred in him. Seeing his gloom, Xiao Tian squeezed his hand harder and gently comforted him. "My lord, don't be too troubled. The flow of time is never fixed." Her gaze was firm as she looked at him, her tone calm but certain. Every action they take now can affect the future, changing outcomes in many directions. In that mystical, galaxy-like space, Xiao Tian looked deep into his eyes and said the scene she witnessed, once revealed to him, could very well change due to fluctuations in the flow of time and space. Jiang Shen held her hand, his gaze serious yet gentle. He hoped things would be as she said, and told her not to hide anything out of fear of worrying him. After a moment, Xiao Tian quietly replied that she understood. While they were talking, an urgent call rang from outside urging the master to wake. Jiang Shen immediately recognized Saito Ayaka's voice. He gently released her hand, his fingers lingering in tenderness, then said softly, "Xiao Tian, I must go first." As soon as he spoke, he left the spirit world, leaving the admonition that she must report anything she saw to him at once. Xiao Tian froze, her hand still hovering as she watched his figure recede. She sat beneath the shujia, looked up at the towering canopy, and sighed, blaming herself for her weakness. If only she were stronger. Lost in thought, she heard a calm voice around her reminding that time is the supreme rule and cannot be forced to change. Tribulations like floods are inevitable trials to temper him. Though she knew Shujia was speaking, the words did little to ease her unease. She hugged herself in helplessness. Shujia added she could only warn, and must not try to twist cause and effect, lest the heavenly Tao backlash. Still, across countless eras, a few beings could transcend the flow of life. When Jiang Shen appeared, Saito Ayaka immediately knelt and reported that the sea was raging and something might be amiss. Jiang Shen frowned, suspected the sea tribe, and ordered her to lead the way to check. At the seabed, the dragon race army massed, many revealing their true forms awaiting orders in the Great Hall. As the news spread, Jiang Shen rushed to High Heaven Plains. Sakura Nation was in chaos. Mount Fuji collapsed. Clearly the primal celestial beings were fighting him. Even if logically he couldn't survive, they had to prepare for all possibilities. Rage surged and Xuanshang Dragon God gritted his teeth, tightening his weapon as he shouted for the entire tribe to mobilize at once. Whether Jiang Shen was dead or had merely escaped grievously wounded, he swore to personally kill that one to avenge Ao Qian. He charged forward leading the army, elites and dragon race following in succession. Taking advantage of Sakura Nation's turmoil, he ordered the whole force to push forward and seize part of the territory. The sea raged, tsunamis roared, dark clouds and storms converged, and dragons circled the water's surface, shouting the slogan, "Kill Jiang Shen, seize Manhwa." Echoes filling the sky. Xuanshang Dragon God rushed through wind and waves, gripping his trident dripping with killing intent. He roared that the day to avenge Ao Qian had come and wished the suns in the abyss to witness the moment. Not far from Sakura Nation, he suddenly stopped, his face turning pale as if frozen. The army behind him instantly slowed, no one daring to advance without orders. Manhwa City, once prosperous, was now covered by dense swarms of dust so thick it could hide a nation. The sight stunned the dragon race, and Xuanshang Dragon God muttered in alarm, "Residue of nine-wing miasma beasts? No, this number is too unusual." Sensing the anomaly, Divine Golden Tortoise, the dragon race's senior aide, stepped forward to report that the news might be distorted, since the overwhelming presence of nine-wing miasma beasts clearly indicated a one-sided massacre. Despite his unease, Xuanshang Dragon God could not relinquish his grief over his lost child. Clenching his trident, he passed the Divine Golden Tortoise and ordered close observation. If the nine-wing miasma beasts went berserk over Jiang Shen's death, let them and others slaughter each other so he could seize Sakura Nation in the aftermath. From above, Jiang Shen glanced down and laughed when he heard someone spread the rumor of his death. Seeing the dragon race trying to take advantage, Saito Ayaka angrily pointed and shouted at them for daring to make trouble in Sakura Nation. Hearing her shout, Xuanshang Dragon God looked up, veins bulging with rage at seeing Jiang Shen alive and intact. He ground his teeth, wondering what had happened in High Heaven Plains that left the other unscathed. Seeing the murderous glare of Xuanshang Dragon God, Jiang Shen immediately got the point and replied coldly, "Dragon King, did you lead your tribe here to fight me or Sakura Nation? But whichever you choose is pointless. Sakura Nation is now in my hands. Have you prepared for the calamity of extinction?" Hearing that, the dragon god froze for a few seconds with only one thought. Impossible he has seized Sakura Nation? What about those powerful primal celestial beings? Were they handled by him? That was hard to believe. No matter how shocked he was, the Dragon King couldn't swallow the humiliation of being taunted by a brat, still wet behind the ears in front of everyone. He gritted his teeth until his jaw trembled. He squeezed the trident so hard it cracked chillingly, reminding himself, "I am the Dragon King of the Sea Tribe." As soon as he finished, the dragon god suddenly dropped to one knee. The shout echoed across the sea and stunned the troops. Even the Divine Golden Tortoise aide nearly toppled. He solemnly declared, "Dragon King pays respects to the sea-subduing king. We bring our whole tribe to submit to you." A timely turn of allegiance. The proclamation froze Jiang Shen in place and left Ayaka wide-eyed and bewildered, both thinking, "Wait, what's happening?" Xuanshang Dragon God narrowed his eyes, his face full of restraint. This was merely a feigned surrender to probe them. He bowed in ceremony, his tone gentle compared to his earlier anger. "Honored sea-subduing king, where is that primal celestial being now? Did it wound you? If so, the entire dragon race stands ready to fight for you." Jiang Shen rolled his eyes, and immediately grasped the Dragon King's probing intent. He curled his lip in a cold smile, his gaze like a blade. Ah, planning tricks in front of me? Not bad, but amateurish. Since they wanted answers, Jiang Shen didn't hesitate to respond. He raised his hand and unleashed a beam of blue light. If you like theatrics, I'll put on a show too, but a real one. As he finished, Jiang Shen's eyes flared red, and a gigantic 8 banner appeared behind him, spitting venom non-stop. He smiled coolly. You mean that snake? I caught it, and now let the children ride it. Xiaojia. Bring Pippy Snake out to meet Uncle Ngao so he won't worry.